A lot of these spring league football games are played in soccer stadiums like the CFL, right? Because doesn't Toronto play in a soccer stadium? And I think there might be one more in the CFL that plays in a soccer stadium. And then there's because I think Columbus here, they play in a soccer stadium, right? And I think DC plays in a soccer stadium. And I think I don't know if does Gamblers, where do they play? Do they play at Rice? And who else is there? The Renegades or whatever, they're Dallas. Did they play like where the Rangers used to play or something? I can't remember. I don't recall. Central Park and stuff. The Brahmas aren't playing anymore, right? But they used to play in the Alamo Dome. And the Battlehawks play in where the Rams used to play. And I don't have the Michigan Panthers anymore. They have Louisville. I don't really know where they play. I haven't paid attention. But so interesting. Yeah. People are strange. When you're a stranger. Yeah, doing irrational things for money on TV. And technology is supposed to be getting way more intelligent than human beings and take over the daily operations of human beings, so human beings don't need to be doctors anymore or lawyers or such. They just might want to be a plumber, right? Isn't that what robots are for? Could you get one of them to come up here and caulk and make sure that the damn skylight's not leaking? I'll do that tomorrow. I gotta get up there and do it. So I'll do it again. You go back, Jack, do it again. Worked on that thing 3 times, and every time I thought, okay, I got it, because it didn't leak, and it didn't leak yesterday. And then this morning, we didn't, after it rained from 2 o'clock last morning until 8 o'clock. And it didn't leak. And then it rained again this afternoon, and it's leaking. Like, shit. I'll have to find out where this, I'll have to go examine. Dude, it's like a total pain in the ass. It is. Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa bop, shimmy, shimmy, bop. Do you ever sit and wonder what music's gonna be like when we're living the Lord's Prayer? You know, how much vocals are we gonna sing? What are we gonna be singing about? How much of it is it going to be instrumental? How much of it is just going to be, hey, put on some Debussy, put on some Mozart, and we don't need to train a new bunch of kids how to play it. We already have the old kids that did it. And if that's what you want to do and it makes you feel good, knock yourself out. But you don't have to pay extortion. You don't have to try to learn about values from Life Begins for Andy Hardy and Spencer Tracy movies. My dad's more like, Andy Hardy and Spencer Tracy movies. Mom watched them too. But my mom was real good at cutting through hypocrisy. But she was very trapped into the academia, how genius and brilliant these people were. And even though I used to explain to her that they weren't, and then she'd get mad at me and say, you should be a genius, right? You should go do this. You should go do that. Like Chief did. Chief thought I should write screenplays about the revelations and stuff I'd feel about the things that I would see. He said, you should write this into a screenplay. It's way better than, what was the name of that? X-Files. And he goes, God, this is brilliant. It's genius. Tina used to say the same things to me when we discussed things about history. She said, Earl, you need to, instead of be a teacher, you need to write this down into screenplays and become mogul, movie producer. Amy was the same way with me. Earl, you need to write this down and do this and turn it into a movie. About the Vincent plantation with the pickets and this would be a best-selling movie. It would be awesome, And no, it's just not in me. I did not want to be an actor. I didn't want to be an Odosa. I didn't want to be an acting career, right? Past, present, future operate at the same time. I was born to be the Messiah, okay? And I always gravitated that way. And when I was given options and choices, I chose, what I wanted to do was the most viable thing to me, that seemed the most intelligent that I looked at, because I didn't perceive myself as the Messiah, because he was a cartoon character that only existed in the brains of crazy people, like Saddam Hussein and George Bush and the Pope and all those rest of those wackadoodles, right? So it's a very precarious position to be in. And I told you guys that. Even though I had the wonderful conversations with Jesus a lot of times throughout my life, I didn't see them as a golden opportunity to kick Andrew Womack in the dick, get Gordon B. Hinckley the fuck out of my house. And I didn't see it that way. I just saw it as he was just helping me. But I thought, all these people, even though I know they weren't talking to Jesus. You do know Oral Roberts is full of shit, man. Yes, Oral Roberts, Andrew Womack's full of shit. They're all full of shit, right? But I do believe, that Jesus talks to people and more than just one. I just didn't know that I was the one that was most like him. He never said that to me. He just said I was the one that was going to help him end the threats of nuclear world war so we could live world peace. So technically, I guess he did say that to me, but I was a little kid and I didn't quite grasp the concept. So I guess he did say that to me when I was a kiddo. But I didn't, you're the guy, and yeah, he did, because I said, I'm just a little kid, you're not going to be a little kid forever, little Earl. So, yeah, so he did say that I was the dude from the last book of the Bible that, okay. Yeah, he's so funny, though. It's like the whole thing with Jennifer Lopez. He said, I never said that was going to be your wife and your forever love. I said that was the woman you had the dreams about. That looked like Yvonne DiCarlo with the white streak in her hair. Oh. But that was the one I was, why will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Who am I going to marry? Was I talking to you? Earl, our lives are better left to chance. You don't want to know. Because he did tell me about Steffi and Amy to a certain degree. And then he told me, that there was going to be this lady later in life that marries me because of what an amazing husband and father I am. And I was like, I don't want to know what, because the only thing I thought was that I didn't think it was Steffi and Amy. I knew she was going to be a mulatto and she was going to be from a military family. But I was going to be a single dad, and I thought, this really amazing dad. And I was like, no, I don't want to know. I don't want this to happen. Basically what I said, I'll just make my own life. I don't want all this prophecy shit. I don't want my wife to die. Because that's what I thought. I thought, if I'm a single dad, I'm a widower, and she dies, and it's like a warm December, and then I have to end up with the lady from Africa who's a princess with sickle cell. And you know what I'm saying? And so I'm sitting there going, no, that's all I wanted to know. I don't want to know anymore. Right? So, but he was very helpful, giving me a lot of information that happened. And I didn't see it happening because I wanted to marry Edna Gomez. And she was not mulatto. And she didn't have anything to do with the military. Okay? So I wasn't trying to fulfill the prophecies that I had in my head. If he told me that, well, here's what's going to happen. He didn't say most likely happened. And it happened. No matter how hard I tried to, no, I want to marry the Mexican girl, Jesus. It's not going to happen. Shut up, Jesus. I want to marry her. She's the one I got along with the best. She was my everything fit just like she was so, but it didn't happen. So he didn't lead me. He didn't come on and lead me on. Come on and tease me all night long. Love me. He didn't sit there and tell me, here's what's going to happen. He told me exactly what was going to happen. And he told me, it was not going to be easy and a lot of it was not going to be good. And he never, told me, this is going to be easy and you're going to, and when I was at Casa Mia, when I told you, when I said somebody needs to do something about this, what about, why not you, Earl? Shit. So I have to be the real lifestyles of Phoenix, Arizona, with a son who's not in high school, but a son that's, cleans out the ghetto. Well, actually, he was little when he shot at the guy, and the cop told him he should have hit. That never happened. No, they had the guns. I didn't have guns. They were about to get their asses kicked, and and taken out worse than Mr. McCall. And the woman got between me and the Drug mules, yeah. Oh, I was pissed. They hit my limit. Motherfucker. Doom, boom, 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 boom. It's 3 o'clock in the fucking morning. I wasn't just doing it for me. I was doing it for all my neighbors. Look, you rotten son of a bitch, just because you have a gun and will kill people and try to drive back to Mexico or go to your little drug cartel safe, doesn't mean you can come and push people around at this apartment complex, which I'd done many a times at that apartment complex. And I know it. You know it. Bob Dole probably, no, I don't know if Bob Dole knew it. David Rockefeller knew it. Bill Rothschild knew it. The popes probably don't know. They're probably so full of shit and have their head so far up their ass that they, can't pull it out because they can't get into shape in 8 months better than the guys that assassinate people for the military. You're funny. It's not funny. I really did it. Yeah. Like I was trying to explain to the little guy next door. I was like, this is Las Cruces and everything's in it. And if you want to be able to be like the people in the Bible and correct technology to protect children from being abused by people with technology and money, you can't lie about it. You can't lie about stuff. You have to be, when you say something, you have to back it up. Hooah. Count coup on me, right? So you're Big Jim, Big Jim don't like, but you're brave, So, yeah. So I really, really care. So, if you're going to get up and do something, you better be able to get up and do it. I cannot fly. Okay. Wingardium Leviosa. No, I can't. Okay. I cannot fly. When I was young, sometimes when it seemed like it, when I played sports. Oh, Martin. He's like a amazing super frisbee dog. You need him on the team. You'll take state. He'll be the best wide receiver, best shutdown corner, and the whole state. Yeah. Oh, Martin was right. Yeah, it happened. It was the coaches knew it because in flag football at Cruces and Mayfield, why didn't you go for the football team? I laughed at them because they laughed at me. Because I looked like when my hair got longer, everybody, Cruz, all that, I looked kind of a little bit like Freddie Prinze, but more like his kid. And when my hair was a little bit shorter, at Mayfield, they called me Magnum. I looked like I was Tom Selleck's son or little brother, But I was skinnier. I was like Ralph Macchio. A little bit like Ralph Macchio, but more like Tom Selleck with the skinny body like Ralph Macchio from The Karate Kid. That's what but I don't know if my body looked much different. I've seen the pictures look similar. Before I went in the service, it was a little different when I did work out and focus more on exercise to get myself strong like I did right before the military. It was a picture of me and Val. You're like, ooh, he has a nice body. Yeah, I did have a nice body because I have athletic parents and stuff. I just didn't put a lot of effort into it for vanity because I was told not to. I was told to focus on being a good person. And not just by Jesus, but also by my mom. Don't worry about being good looking. You can find a good looking bum working in any gas station. Worry about being a good person. She used to say that right in front of my father. It's like, Mom, 1 step up and 2 step back, all their dirty little wars and stuff. And I was like, yeah, he was mean. That's pretty mean to say to his son right in front of him, and stuff. And so, yeah. No, I did not do that. No, I tried not to with my kids. I tried not to. I didn't, when they did wrong things, yes, I called them on it and told my kid, but I told my kids, learn from their mistakes and don't repeat them. If you don't like the way that their selfishness is making our lives miserable, don't do the selfish things that you do to make other people's lives miserable. My kids, Patrick didn't listen. They didn't listen. Just like all of you. Yeah. No, they get together. Why aren't you making money? Why didn't you pay our extortion? Why didn't you go with the guys that Mom went with or the girls that Mom went with that made money to pay our extortion? I could have made more money for extortion than any of the people that your moms could have had sex with for money to pay extortion. But I chose to stand up to stop extortion. Why aren't you standing up to stop extortion with me? I liked Henry David Thoreau too. Okay. Most because they don't read it. They don't take time. They don't take time to listen, and it's still hard. And, Patrick was manipulated by 1, 2, 3 adult women. Okay. They weren't adults, by three women that were grown-ups, like grups, like on Star Trek, that were being selfish and encouraged him to be selfish and make your dad do what you want your dad to do. And if he doesn't do what you want, leave him. And that's what Patrick did. Okay? I don't want you to marry Amy. I don't want to put up with the baby. I don't want to put up with the kid getting into my stuff. I don't want any of that kind of stuff. I don't want to have to deal with kids. So you don't want you think you want a puppy. Why do you want a puppy if you can't handle having a puppy? The puppy chews up and tears up your couch. The puppy shits all over you and pees all over your stuff till you get it. Yeah, okay. Babies are very similar. Okay, dude. And if you like women and like being romantic and intimate and sexual with women, that's going to happen. And you think you're going to get with her and everything's going to go okay, but selfish people are going to sit there and go, you should be fucking me and not him. I am better in bed than he is. I got more money than he does. I can get him fired and he'll be living in an alley. You going to live with him in an alley? You think that all that stuff just goes away because you want it to go away and you tell people this is what I want and you're going to get everything you fucking want? Huh? Tell Kaylin Gilliard, I think you have more fucking rose-colored glasses on your fucked up face than I ever had in my life, ever. Okay. Tell your mom, no. I'm not going to be selfish and throw a fit if I don't get my way. When a 3-year-old acts that way, you can deal with it. But a 23-year-old and a 33-year-old and a 53-year-old acts that way, there's a real fucking problem. When a 63-year-old does it and is considered prime minister or president or general or admiral, it's a very big fucking horrible problem, right? Or CEO or producer or executive producer or director, right? Boy, the defenses are really lighting it up here in this last quarter here. Oh, that's because they know they're having to pass because it's getting... Well, they didn't have to on the other side with Columbus. Oh, the kiddo got hurt. Ouch. It's not fun when... Oh, is that Tua? Is that Tonga? Is that Tua's little brother? They hurt his leg when he slid down trying to get away. Is that on that? Is that grass though? It looks like it could be grass. I don't know. A lot of that turf shit that they use looks like grass and kind of acts like grass because they put shit on it to make it act like grass, but it's not really grass. It just acts like it is. And so it gets a little wet. It's slippery. Grass is slippery, but grass has a give. And the big guy pulled him down and landed on his legs with his whole body, and it kind of hurt his knee. Yeah, when someone 260 pounds like that lands on your leg with his whole body and stuff, that can hurt. Yeah, it's not fun. That's why to tackle football, I was out there playing in the barn exercising and dancing and having a little fun. And, basketball was invented to keep kids from getting sick in the wintertime so they could be healthy. Put your peaches in the basket because everybody needs peaches, but not everybody needs money to fuck because the Lord's Prayer is perfect. Apples, peaches, pumpkin pie. You were young and so was I. Then I'm going to take you home, marry you so you're full grown. Yeah. What's that guy's name? Bam. How to buy you. Okay. Get your shit together. I can't be dating Asia Wilson. She's too tall for me. Yeah. She always had to be kissing me on the forehead. Say, you're the sweetest, most gorgeous little old man I ever knew. It's like, baby girl, I believe you. Bam, bam. Get your pebbles straight, man. Get your pebbles straight. Apples, peaches, pumpkin pie. Good song, yeah. I get ready or not, here I come. I don't have that. I should probably put that on the MP3, but I don't. Gee, that used to be such fun. And yeah, that's a good one. It's kind of cute. Yeah, it's cute. I do like that one. I need to go in there. I should get it's not the Intruders. It's the Persuaders, right? Alone in the crowd on the bus after work, I'm daydreaming. Guy next to me, he's got his woman on his arm, his girl on his arm. My arms are empty. How does it feel when the one that you love says, yeah, she loves you? It seems unfair when there's love everywhere, and yet there's none for you. Some guys have all the luck. Luck ain't real, you know that, right? It's just something people made up for gamblers because gamblers are dumb. But we're not making fun of the kids on the Houston team. It's just, it's because of Kenny Rogers, and he was one of the owners of the first Houston Gamblers team in the USFL that Donald Trump screwed up by getting greedy to try to get the New Jersey or New York Generals into the NFL. You think the NFL and the CFL are going to merge, or do you think we're going to be living the Lord's Prayer and people play football for fun and not for money, and they won't try to hurt each other because they won't have to be involved in genocidal extortion to live here? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Remember Sammy, the star pupil in the economics class at ASU? What do you think? What do you think? Greenspan's an idiot, and I'll tell you why. No, he freaked out. He was like, Earl, this stuff is genius, When you sat there and said, no, in the future, or what Earl said first was, he goes, these people are insane. And if you make saving their environment and keeping each other safe and healthy something for economic incentive, then they'll probably start putting some insist into it because of their insanity. So that's what you have to do when it comes to economics, is you have to make being responsible and saving the planet from not being responsible the most economically viable option, because they're stupid. But I didn't say that. I was just being nice. Because Sammy, I didn't want to insult Sammy. He was in economy. He was his major was economics at ASU. And you don't tell him how stupid he is. You just explain to him how stupid Greenspan is. And you explain to him intelligence instead of stupidity through what's perceived as economics. And he was a star pupil, Sammy Singer. Yeah, because Teresa always, what do you think? What do you think? And I also told him about the stuff. No, eventually what they'll do is they'll build monorails in tubes like you do with the bank tube that takes the money to the, okay. And once you do that, it'll eliminate the resistance of gravity going through the thing, and then the rail will move quicker and safer because it will be contained. You won't have weather delays, you won't have snow, you won't have rain, because it'll be contained in the thing, and it'll go like that, and you hit it, and it's on electromagnetic, and it'll go, and it'll be there, and so you'll get there much faster, and you'll be also much safer, and that's much safer than building a bunch of airplanes that can fall out of the sky and die. But then I didn't realize, no, these people are homicidal, genocidal, suicidal, psychotic, right? So, they're way behind in doing things intelligently, because we have to watch TV shows like this. They're nuts. Yeah, apples, peaches, pumpkin pie. You were young and so was I. I'm gonna take you home, marry you so you full grown, right? So, yeah, these people, they're clinically insane. The things that they're doing are clinically insane. This caused Cameron's heart disease. This is one of the major causes of the stress and the toxins that killed Killian's father and caused Killian's heart disease, because Tucson is not the Hamptons and Malibu, right? Your kin can kiss my Barbie, right? So, when you do stuff like this, you've got to understand this is absolute clinical insanity, and the technology is becoming more intelligent than you and the people that invented the vehicles for you to do the things you do for money on TV, and then want to be one of the world's top gladiators instead of be an apostle because you love the ways of the Messiah. And those are kids, trapped inside the kids don't stand a chance. They do. They have the Messiah. It says so in the Matrix movies, right? Okay. And Kiran over here saying Judah Krishnamurti, right? And so, yeah, and I hate to play favorites, but he probably is my favorite Indian. I was joking about the baseball thing because that was my favorite Indian joking with me, because he used to watch cartoons with me in meditation when I was a kid, helping me through. Yeah. Look at him, whoopee doopy, Hume genius, right? He's adorable. He's very patient. He's sitting there with this kid, and he's like, they're not taking you and sending you to the the feeder schools for University of Chicago, like the Obama kids and the Biden kids? Nope. You're where? Okay, you're just out. You're right where they said you'd be, right? Just right outside of the Trinity site, the Dragon. But you're going to school, but Messiah Park Elementary School, yeah, because Mom doesn't want us going to Messiah because it was true that the administration and the teachers allowed the Mexican kids to beat up on and abuse the white kids in the Messiah school district, and it wasn't as prevalent and as allowed in Messiah Park because Messiah Park was where they had more people that worked at the university, and so there was more white people, and it wasn't kosher. Okay, but at Messiah back then, it was mostly just Mexican families, and so the administration and the teachers kind of, they deserve it. They're part of the man. But it's like, no, all the people that go to school in Messiah that live down there, we live in a $1,300, $13,000 adobe house built by an old Hindu, sold to us by Miss Chisholm because she was a sweetheart to my parents, because my parents were poor and she wanted to help us out. And yeah, she's being a sweetheart. Well, because my dad rode in the rodeo and he was trying his best to be a good guy and he was very polite, Southern gentleman, stuff. And my mom was, a young Army brat whose dad was a hero, and just two good old all-American kids trying to raise good all-American kids, but poor as dirt, trying to make a living off of black land dirt and got a horse and some chickens and and stuff, and so and just end all these ridiculous fucking commercials. Okay, you have lots of money for being a circus gimmick, right? And it's iconic and historic, and you're amazing, right? I can help you put your peaches in the basket. I can help you exercise in a healthy way so you're not having to survive toxic environments through stress, through people that are doing things that are clinically insane. Crazy Eddie. Okay. I'm watching the foosball game. I'm not fascinated. I am the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer and the focal point of correction for technology to save people from genocide operations, which are irrational and a threat to our existence as human beings. Don't hold food hostage. I like food too, but we had food way before restaurants. We're going to have food way after restaurants is gone. Restaurant and hotels are only put together to make four people aspire to want to be rich and feel rich. And rich is insane when you have an invention that makes you rich. Okay? What makes you wealthy is Bob Marley. Are you a wealthy man? I have family I love that loves me. And my wealth is the love of my family and my love for my family. So I'm a very wealthy man. Me? I'm the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. I'm the most wealthy man that any of you that think that your money and your technology makes you powerful and influential ever ignored. I'm the most wealthy man in the world. I'm a special little guy. Guys, all right. Let's Is that Spencer's Mountain? Is that what's on right there? Apples, peaches, pumpkin. Yeah, it is. It's on Free Play TV. Okay, y'all. I'll probably take one more. So I'll make one more after this one loads, maybe to have something to watch while I'm soaking in the tub. We'll see how NASA's behaving tonight. Okay, love you. All right, peace.